Welcome back to the A.K.A podcast. A.K.A, are you finished?
Karam. 1 sec. Wallah, I'm fuming. Wallahi, I'm fuming. Wallah, my head's hot. We'll get into it.
The
We'll get
players,
into it.
the
My head's
players.
hot.
If I say what I want to say about Vinicius Jr.,
No,
will I be,
don't say.
will I be allowed on social media? Will I be allowed?
Sorry.
No. Do it one more time.
Yeah.
What happened?
Okay. First and foremost, I'm raging. However, I want to make it very clear that 2-1 is actually pretty flattering for us. Do you agree?
Very.
Yeah. I think it was flattering for us. I think Madrid, before I get into some rants, I think Madrid they played us off the park today. I'll be honest, right? From 90 minutes. The only time where I felt like we had a bit of momentum was when they practically gave it to us towards the end of the game, when they had subbed out Mbappe and Vinicius, and that's
And
when we even had and Bellingham, and that's when
everyone.
I felt like we had any sort of ball retention and chances.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I felt like the rest of the game, to be honest, was us on a skewer. I'll be real.
We got bullied. Like,
I believe for 90 minutes.
so like there's a pretty like normal concept you feel like when you watch football where a team presses you early in the game and you're like, okay, you just gotta weather the storm.
You
But
said it.
why?
You said we need to survive the first 30.
Let me tell you what happened. That was one of them hurricanes. What Hurricane Harvey was it one of them ones? You know
You
what I'm
can't say
saying?
that one. You're in Texas.
I'm just saying it's one of those storms that just keep coming.
I couldn't believe. So in my head I was like, okay, you know what? They're pressing us like mad. We've seen this blueprint a lot across different teams, but it's gonna slow down. It didn't slow down.
We,
If anything, it got worse.
a very popular topic for us during these podcasts has been like,
Sorry.
who do you play? Who do you play in defense? And it's like I felt like we came to a pretty strong conclusion that the reason why we play Eric Garcia was for organization senses, but also for sake of build up. And I'm not. This is not like an attack specifically at Eric Garcia. It's about the entire thing where it's like you felt like we're trying to go in that direction, yet Amr, there's halfway through the game I thought we no longer believed in Bosha ball. Like we didn't believe in no one's ball. We cared on the ball not being on our side of the pitch. Like I okay.
Let's
I
let's
think a
let's, let's
question I have to
talk about
ask.
it. Yeah. Go on. Go
I
on.
think a question I have to ask is why do you think we couldn't build up? Like, why do you think that we couldn't string three passes together? Why were we getting bullied in every single side of the pitch? Was it just physicality?
I mean, look, from my eyes, it just looked like straight up physicality. Like
Mhm.
to me, it looked like Chouameni and Bellingham were on some roids, dude. Like that's how it felt. Like I felt like their defensive work, the way that they were pushing back De Jong and Pedri, was like frightening. To be honest with you.
No connection between those DMs and the cams and the right wings
Now,
and the
it
left.
doesn't help when your forwards are not pressing. Varane looked like a shell of himself in terms of pressing and hold the play and dribbling. Varane was like a passenger.
You know what it is? Genuinely, when you talk about our defense on Ultimate Team, I'm being serious for a second right now. You know Rudiger and Hodgson, but I know this time they didn't have Rudiger, they're Militao.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's what it looked like with Varane. They're tackling from the back, and he just take it, like they ripped him a new one. You know what I'm saying though?
I'm not even
Like,
joking. It took him just
yeah,
threw
just hold it, just genuinely hold it. You know what
no,
I'm
no,
saying?
genuinely, it's like hold this one, and then he just you get me. That's what he's doing to him. No, 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 like you're laughing about it.
Brother, do you know what they genuinely did? I know you mean they just really just yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, you're gonna hold this one, and then you get me. That's what happened.
Oh, you're in the box. No, you're not. No, you're not.
You know I'm in the box.
Oh, you had the ball. No, no, you
No,
don't.
you're in the ball, yeah, on the floor. That's what I did to man. And then,
Oh,
oh my god, Tubu alayk ya Allah. The way that Lamine has gone down.
let me tell you something. Yeah, we need to somehow put out allegations he's cheated.
It must be.
We need.
Look,
No, I'm saying
on a
we need
serious
to
note,
make sure it's called separation there in that relationship.
either that man is injured or he does not give a toss about football.
Uh, uh-huh.
He all he cares about is scoring a dodgy pen, and then puts a little king crown on top of his head.
You know,
Look, I'll be real.
it's
All he
crazy.
did, LeBron when he's out of rhythm, but he's just chucking threes. And it's like,
Yeah,
bro, what are you doing?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what do you? Why are you chucking those? Why was he playing like hoofball?
And you know
Like
what's crazy?
trying to play runs in for people that weren't making runs.
Yeah, and you know what it is? Shout out Sultan because he tries that Travella in Ultimate Team. I swear to God, if they just saw our pro clubs team, the way Sultan plays, they know that does not work every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I don't mind the mean trying this stuff. I think you, on a serious note, when we're talking about these passes he's trying and stuff like that, yes, it's not the best, but it's genuinely like it's so indicative by the way that he's pressing. It's so indicative by the way that he's not challenging his man. I think the commentators mentioned it a lot throughout the game with Carreras, but Carreras genuinely looked dodgy a lot of the time. Don't
He
get me
did.
wrong. You know, like he kept going to the floor, and there was this one sequence when we had a counter, was the Fermin had the chance, and Carreras kept going to the floor very easily, and it felt like all Lamine had to do was kind of beat him, get him on the floor, and he wasn't getting he wasn't playing smart. Is kind of the point I'm getting at. Like, but somehow he made it look like he was going up against Nuno Mendes, not
No,
not.
no. On a serious note, Lamine, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he's injured. That's my only
Has
explanation.
he
Has to.
did keep on. I don't know what it was. I wasn't saying he was
He did.
holding something,
He
but he
kept
kept
on
on
as if
looking
he pulled something.
downward, just kind of looking at his foot or something
Yeah.
along the lines of looking down. He
As
kept
if he just like pulled a muscle or something. Like, and it
yeah
was like a weird. And that being said, he still made a chance with 5 minutes to go, where Kunde is essentially one on one with
yeah
Courtois, if you can bring it down. And that brings me to this hillbilly Kunde, right? This guy had a stinker of a game offensively. A stinker of a game. Man
yeah.
thinks he's Lil Wayne. He's not Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah?
Yeah. You think
He
he's smooth?
stunk it up, bro. He stunk it up. Offensively, he couldn't link up with a single he couldn't link up with Pedri on that side. He couldn't link up with Lamine. Him and Lamine looked completely disconnected. And then
Yeah.
defensively, yeah, he had some blocks against Vinicius. But also Vinicius was tearing him a new one. I'll be real. I
Yeah.
heard Vinicius is a crybaby, and I want to get into more. I'm gonna reserve, like you said. But he was tearing Kunde a new one. That's why he was pissed he came off. Every
Yeah.
time he had the ball, it looked like a crazy threat.
That's one of the biggest problems, right? Is that Kunde was struggling defensively, and yet because of how pinned down he was defensively by Vinicius, he could not overlap. That's one of the biggest things for us as well. It's like I think it's a pretty traditional thing that if you want to free up Lamine from the three defenders that were ganging up on him, don't get me wrong, they were double teaming but it's not something new to Lamine, as in like
Yeah,
it's not that we haven't seen like a new tactic or something, and he can create from those positions. Um, if Kunde is not overlapping, Lamine has no support. If Lamine has no support, it also makes it more difficult for him. Given Lamine was not challenging the defenders as quickly or as often as he should have, but with no overlap, you have no support in terms of creating a bit of chaos on your side to make like a moment happen. You know.
yeah.
Um,
I would say so. So we've touched on Kunde, we've touched on Lamine, we've touched on Ferran getting
You just want
touched.
to give ratings for this team quickly?
We can, if you want to.
Because at this point, we can just bang them out. I think Chesney, I'm going to give him an
I,
8. What would you give him?
man of the match, man
Man
of
of
the
the
match for
8
Barcelona.
because you saved the pen, you know?
You saved the pen. You saved that free kick. I thought in the first half he saved a really difficult one from Hoyson that was going to go near post. Like Hoyson got at the end of a cross, it went near post. He saved it. I felt even towards the end he saved the shot from Rodrigo. He saved a couple from Bellingham far out the box.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first goal, there's no way I'm putting that on him. Like it's a one-on-one with Mbappe, and it's just a class finish. I'll be honest.
You might think I'm crazy, but Juan Garcia could save that, though. Just more because I
He
want
could,
to
he
gas up
could, he
Juan
could, he
Garcia.
could, he could. But Chesney had a
It's just needs to get a
fantastic.
leg on it, but he does a good job to even get a leg on it, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not like I thought Chesney was our man of the match, and then the
Mhm.
Bellingham goal is just like it's a open goal, like
So
it's a
what
tap
is
in.
your rating? What is your rating?
So my rating is yeah 8 just because we lost. But honestly, like if
Like I
we
don't
won
think.
that game,
Yeah. Okay. Kunde, you've already said quite a
four,
lot, but
four,
I'd give
four,
him.
and we'll
I'd
be
give him.
generous.
We can give him the same as his kit actually, but it's true, you know. So centre backs, Eric Garcia.
I thought
You know,
Eric was better than Kubarsi, but again, he was just getting torn a new one with Mbappe's runs. But I
you know
actually
what it
thought
is.
he was
I
alright.
wouldn't say. Yeah, I wouldn't say our line was that high up. We just couldn't even be
It
that high
wasn't.
up.
It
We
wasn't.
couldn't be.
It wasn't.
So
I would just say they, especially the goal, and even their offside goals, their runs were very well timed. I'll be honest, it was very, very
yeah,
well timed.
I think we said this. I think at halftime, and it was we're not playing offside trap, and neither are we building up from the back. So it just felt like there was not a reason to have Eric Garcia. You know,
I'll give him. He has to be more than Kunde.
5 for me.
I was gonna go. I'll go 6. That's me being generous.
Kubarsi, same.
Oh, it has to be less. For me, I thought he was the worst center back out of the two, so I'll go 5.
Everything was coming from his side, but I think that's just where Mbappe was attacking. So I do think that Kubarsi is given like a harder job of the two.
Yeah,
But yeah, left back Balde, really bad positioning, really bad
5.
position.
5. I didn't see him all game, to be honest.
I think any time I saw a run was made by Real Madrid, it always felt like he was the one lagging behind. But yeah,
And
I didn't see him all game.
offensively, he just didn't link up with Rashford, but bar one time when Rashford played him through that I can remember. Other than that,
I'll say
5.
one thing, which is Kunde had horrible performance, but there's a part of me that wants to treat Balde as harshly, purely for this reason, which is I don't think he was challenged defensively nowhere near as much as Kunde was, and
Agree.
yet we didn't see him making it because Golaire is on his side, right? And Golaire is moving in a lot, and it's a
It's
interesting
more of a midfield problem than a wing problem
exactly.
for Balde.
And I don't feel like Balde provided any of us offensively anything while not being pinned down defensively as
I
much.
hear it. I hear it.
So I honestly, I think I actually come to the conclusion I would give. I'd give like let's say I could give Kunde a 3 and I would give Balde a 4.
Yeah,
That's how I
I hear
was
it.
so disappointed with Balde.
Yeah, I hear it.
What'd you give?
I mean, he kind of summarizes that he got subbed off Gerard Martin in the final 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. I do think that was for set pieces reasons potentially, but
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure it was.
but if you provide enough, you don't even consider.
I gave him also a 5, like Kabarsi.
Of course. Now we've got De Jong.
De Jong, I think he was trying. Like I think he was trying like Pedri, but I just felt they were so isolated in the midfield. Like I really
Right?
feel like
It's
they were getting bullied.
it's like it's a weird one where you can't pinpoint why you are disappointed. Let's say with Young's like okay, actually, this is all I'll say. You're annoyed because you feel like it's their particular job to help break the press, and the press wasn't being broken. So you feel inclined to blame them, but you also feel like it's just not their fault due to the lack of support.
I felt like they were in a position where they were between a crap offense and a crap defense. To be honest with you, and they kind of like they try to look left and right, and they were like, I can give it to this guy, and it's not gonna do much, and I try to give it to this guy, nothing's gonna happen here. I really felt like they were in between, like a crap sandwich, to be honest with you.
I
So
mean, trying to
I'll
give
give him a six.
give him a
I'll give,
6.
I'll give Dion a
Inclined
six.
to give Pedri a higher rating than De Jong, so I'll give De Jong a 6, and I'll give Pedri a 6.5, just for the sake
Yeah,
of
I
saying.
hear it. He got sent off at the end, but that's because he was going for it. To be honest,
Mhm.
like I felt like he was a bit for sure. He was sloppier than usual, Pedri. I thought he lost the ball on a few occasions where usually Pedri doesn't lose the ball there. But again, I felt like De Jong and Pedri had a very difficult job today.
I
I felt like
agree.
they were being pressed, and the defense wasn't helping them out, and neither was the attack, especially the attack. I felt like the defense could pass it in, drill it into the midfield, and then there was like you look forward, and they try to drop deep the forwards, and the forwards just get bullied the second they try to drill in passes into them.
Rashford.
I've Rashford, okay, Rashford. The
Either
thing is
side.
with Rashford, this is nothing different than any of his other performances, in my opinion. I
I
thought he was
agree.
a bit lazier with his runs this game, especially the runs he was making against Olympiacos.
When Pedri and De Jong are so pinned down, the question is, where is he making the runs for? Like, who's he making the
I
runs for?
agree, I agree, I agree. But I felt like even when he was dropping deep, he couldn't hold it. But he took the goal pretty well, like in terms of composure, and he reacted quickly. To be honest, this is nothing new from Rashford. To be honest, like he contributed to the goal, but other than that, he just like we also missed Rafinha on the left hand side just based on work rate and chance creation. To be honest,
I give him a
so
6.5, actually, like Pedri.
yeah, because of the goal, I'd give him a 6.5. Yeah.
Fermin Lopez, scorer of the game.
Score of the game, I thought in the first half he was our only threat, pretty much like going forward because of especially of how direct he
An
was.
early second half, but yeah,
Yeah, there was one chance where
he could have passed it.
I get why he took the shot, and like to be honest, if you told me anyone the team was meant to take a shot running in 1-on-1 with the or like pretty much directly at the keeper, I'd want it to be Fermin. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, especially in his form lately, he could have passed it off. But then I thought in the second half he looked very tired, and I thought part of the reason why we couldn't create anything was him not linking up well with De Jong and Pedri. To be honest,
This is the
I'll give him a seven. I'll
I
give him a
love
seven.
that point. I give him. I tell you what, I was gonna give him a 7 as well, purely because he scored. This was one of the biggest discussion points I wanted to even talk to you about, and I think you've already kind of landed on the point, which is the trade off you get with a Fermin Lopez. I don't know if we have someone. Listen, we don't have anyone on the bench that I'm saying. Listen, we could have played over him. I'm not saying that we should have played anyone over him. Is it that consistent trade off of I don't believe Pedri believes he can give it to Fermin in the space between, like,
And
let's say,
keep the ball. Yeah, and keep the ball. Yeah,
keep the ball. So if
yeah.
it's not Fermin making a run, it is no point. And
I
it's
hear.
just
I just don't see us
some-
like you said. I don't see anyone on the team that would provide enough positives over Fermin. The positives that Fermin brings, like
like
currently.
Olmo in form is what, like, I've kept saying this, but I'm saying Olmo in form is what I like in A.K.A, and I love Fermin as a person I sub on in the 60th minute. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
agree.
saying? Like
I agree. I
like
agree.
that is just, but it's like, of course Olmo's not healthy. And then your options on the bench was literally Tony Fernandez, who I believe is like 19, and Dro, who's like 17. Like I don't know the ages exactly, but the the point is just we suffered from Fermin, but he was also the only one creating the chances and being the threat at goal. That one chance we're talking about where he had the two options on his left and right, Ferran on his right and Rashford on his left, and the Real Madrid defenders kind of collapse in right before Fermin's shot.
Yeah.
Um, I would say there's one thing I have that annoys me because I'm mad at him at taking the shot, to be honest, because I think in lots of situations he could have
That's right.
scored that.
Scores. He usually
Could have
scores. To be honest. Yeah.
Ferran, like, after is like, why didn't you give it? And he looks kind of frustrated. But I'll be honest, Ferran didn't look like he wanted the ball right before that. When I'm watching
It
that
was a
thing, like,
very. I was gonna say
he,
it was a very like lazy run. Like
yes,
kind of like he's not doing it with intent. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. And that's what annoys me that you're complaining. Like if you kind of I saw you kind of like move and you're trying to
Yeah.
find you're either making a run or you're trying to find the exact perfect space that Fermin can give the pass last second if needed, then I'm like, you wanted that ball to score that.
Yeah.
But the problem is I have with Varane is he does not look like he wants the ball, but then he complains because he feels like he was open. But I, I know this is funny, but like when I used to play varsity basketball, even I swear, like play JV or dude, sometimes I do that where I kind of hide, like I'm open for a shot, but I act like I don't actually want that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is a
Otherwise,
problem. It's
you'd
actually
like
a problem.
hesitate a bit. You'd hesitate a
You know?
bit. Like you try to get like that inch more of
But you're
space.
not calling for it, but you
Yeah.
act like I'm here. But you like if you actually want that, you would make it clear. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
You
like hesitate a bit. You'd make like a last second like darting run. You space out a bit. You do
yeah.
something like that. I agree. To be honest, Fran, for me, and we can just. So what are you giving
Sorry.
for me?
So what I'd give Firmino's also 7. We
Yeah,
can go into Lamine. No,
sure.
Lamine.
Lamine, dude. I'll be honest. Lamine, in terms of pure trance creation, probably created more than, for example, Rashford, for example. Like just pure in terms of if you isolated chances that led people in on goal. But for me, especially knowing Lamine, and he might be injured. He might be injured. I'm giving him a 4. That's
Mhm.
how pissed off I am with Lamine. Because that's how good I know he can be.
Yeah, I think it's being weighed down by who he can be, and it's a
It is.
frustration. Like I'm rating you because of that.
It is.
I'll give Lamine a 6. I think in a weird way I agree with you. My frustration says 4 though. So it's like I think you when you made that statement about chance creation, I think you agree with me that
Yeah,
like
but I'm giving him a 4.
yeah, fair
I'm
enough.
giving him a 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at striker Ferran, honestly,
Bro,
I'm giving him a
I
4.
mean, I'll be honest.
Maybe a 3. Like I genuinely, that's how much I hated his
No,
performance.
but come. Why are you giving him a 3? Yeah, I mean,
Can I explain to you? Yeah.
like, was he? Is because he was breathing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't blame my guy. Like, obviously, it was. I felt like a graveyard shift almost. But I'll be honest. Like, we're giving it because he was like tried. Yeah. Like,
But
that's
like,
the only-
the question is like, did he try?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying he's probably lower. Like he was basically like he was a
Ah,
human. He was a human on the pitch. That's how I feel.
well, genuinely courtside seats. So mango.
That's how it felt. And again, I don't necessarily blame him. Again, I think he wasn't match ready. He obviously has been out for the last couple of games. They chucked him in 90 minutes, unhinged as hell. Like he was not match ready, and that's very clear. The Fran before he got injured was actually the reason why we were able to beat the press a lot of the time. I feel like he was the one able to hold up the ball and then make runs in behind against
Mm.
other teams before he got injured. And I thought we missed that a lot today. That's why you even brought up the fact that I'd rather see a Tony or Dro right now, or an Araujo up front, than Ferran, just because we need some sort of presence there. There was no presence. And if there was no presence, we might as well have a Dro or Fernandez who can at least move around in the midfield beneath. Maybe not as a striker.
Araujo for physicality, and then we said Joe Antonio Fernandez just to be more dynamic than what he was doing. But it does fall back to the same thing for me. I'll give Ferran a 3 because like my boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the
It's
shark.
still my boy. Sorry. Okay.
But bro, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's just I do kind of land on that same thing, which is the awkward thing about having Fermin Lopez on the pitch, which is did we see Fermin Lopez and Ferran do anything together? And that's like a
They
that
don't
is a
link up.
concerning.
They don't.
They don't link up, and that's concerning for your striker in camp. You
Yeah,
know,
I agree. I just see like I'll give Firmino a pass because of what he's doing. You know what I mean? And because of the lack of substitutes that we
yes.
have to come in his place.
By the way,
I think
it is a real thing in football that your ability to like strike and be a threat at goal can make up for your lack of creativity. Like I'm not disagreeing
absolutely.
with that. You know what I'm saying? Like end of the day, that's part of the game. So I don't disagree. It's just looking at the holes in our team because I don't believe we could have played someone in Fermin's spot and had a better performance. I'm just pointing out what we were missing because we played Fermin, and what we could have if we have a different type of player in that system. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah,
right now we don't,
yeah,
factually. So
yeah. I think going forward, like after this game, I know we kind of made a joke. So you had like adjusted your prediction to 3-2 before the start of the game. Just let that be known. But
right before, like, the game hadn't started yet, but yes,
yeah,
yeah.
the game hadn't started. The game hadn't started. But the reason for that is that I don't know. You were kind of joking. You were saying injuries. I genuinely believe on Madrid outplayed us again. If we had Rafinha, I see way more possibilities in this game.
Yeah,
Way
yeah, yeah.
more. Like I think Rafinha, the way he makes those runs that Lamine understands, the way he works incredibly hard for the team, pressing wise and going back, and then just pure like
Energy.
usage sometimes. Like
Yeah.
he's just taking shots, he's popping crosses left, right, he's trying through balls. He's like very involved. Like one thing about Rafinha is that whether he plays well or not, he's involved. You get what I mean?
I mean, I would argue that the entire game, like, Real Madrid's right side just didn't get attacked. Like, it just didn't. Like, it just
Yeah,
didn't. Like
I
if
agree.
you, if, like we always talk about, right? Like, it's always a
Which
game
is,
of
by
like,
the way, sorry, but it's very disappointing considering you have Balde and Rashford on the left. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
very disappointing. You
We didn't
know
see
they can get
fullbacks
at
going
them.
forward. We didn't see
Yeah.
our fullbacks going forward because they were somehow pinned down. It's always a game in football of like, do you play an attacking fullback so you can pin down their winger and force him to come back, or do you play like, or do you, if your fullback is very defensive and then their winger gets comfortable, but then what happens if you have a very offensive winger and pin their fullback back?
And the honest answer is it comes down to who do you see more as a threat? And the answer was clear today. And the answer was Vinicius, Mbappe, and even Goulier and Bellingham, like that front four kind of, was much more of an offensive threat than Balde could be offensively and Kunde. So the natural reaction was that we were the ones being pinned back instead of threatening them going forward with our fullback.
I don't come here to make excuses. I really don't. I really don't. Real Madrid were only missing Rudiger and uh who is with Rudiger on the bench? It was
I mean, technically Trent is like he just came back. He wasn't involved,
they don't
obviously.
want him. They don't want him. They don't want him on the pitch. Listen, you don't want that man. Do you know what? Well, if they played if they saw Trent, I think Rashford cooks him today. How about that? How about that?
And maybe he goes for it more, to be honest, or maybe he would. No, to be honest, cut him. Like he would have also sent some
Yeah,
nasty
yeah, I can't.
dribble.
The ball wouldn't go on to him. The ball, I know. I'm just trying. I'm trying.
Look,
I'm trying.
dude. Like at the end of the day, all things considered, and we were still somehow in it towards the end of the game, which is
Mm-hmm.
mental to me. That's mental. Like that's I can't believe that we were still somehow in the hope of a point towards the end of the game. Going forward, we need Lamine. I don't know. He needs fixing up. If he's injured, leave him injured on the bench till he's not. Don't rush him back for any game. If he's not injured, somebody needs to smack him on the side of the head and wake him up. Tell him, tell him like, yo,
Yeah.
Pino Verdunya. You get me? Focus. Listen up, dude. Yeah? Or
You know,
lock in. Lock in.
Dino
Groin injury.
Dunya.
Facts. Okay.
Baby.
And then we need Rafinha back. Just period. We need Rafinha back. And then look, man, I don't think this warrants a change in center backs, especially against the lesser teams. But I do want to give credit to the hero ball that Araujo was doing towards the end of that game as a center back. When he came on, he was like,
Trying.
no, I mean, I would say he was one on. Okay, the shot from like 90 yards was retarded.
Put a lot on
I don't
him.
know if you could say retarded, but it was retarded. And then, but to be honest, he was also handling like Mbappe one on one for like a good 15 minutes before he went to striker.
Yeah, no. He looked very energetic and like he was giving us something. Like we said, if we're not playing, we came to this conclusion kind of earlier. But if we're not playing off side trap, then why don't we play Araujo at that point? Because I think one of our biggest arguments is that like if you are gonna play Araujo, he kind of lacks in IQ is kind of a big problem
Yeah,
and like positioning. But at this point, our fullbacks were playing their own positioning.
yeah.
Balde,
And look, I get like living and dying by your style of play, and I'm never gonna like. I'll probably stick by Flick's style of play until he's gone, right? Um, but I think the style of play that we should have been playing, especially after we've gone 1-1,
mm-hmm.
is long ball. To be honest, like at the Bernabeu, and the build up hadn't worked the entire game. At no point did the build up.
A long ball coming into Ferran Torres. Just trying to test that.
You get me? You can take all this shirt.
He didn't even have like Rudiger, who would have even had that is
And
even like
Lamine is also not gonna latch onto anything. That's
yeah.
for sure.
You know, what's annoying is Hoyston looked bad early in the game in terms of being able to control the ball. And like it felt like our only chances also did come from the press. Like for example, Golair lost the ball, which resulted in our first goal. One thing to
Yeah,
be mentioned. Hoyston had lots of bad passes early in the game where he kind of lost control. And it
I
felt like
genuinely
we gave too much credit to the Real Madrid defense of their ability to build up because we weren't pressing them, you know?
absolutely. I
And
felt
it's
like
just frustrating.
one of the core problems in the match today was how little our offensive line was pressing. That's I think actually one of the biggest problems. Like we talk about build up, we talk about the midfield. For me, the way that you're right, like their defense got basically a free pass into the midfield was like detrimental to our team, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like in fact, um the goal comes from the press from Pedri. Like Pedri's the one that had to bust the gut to go take the ball off Goulet.
Like that's probably the position Rashford should be in for me, you
Yes,
know?
absolutely. If he was covering ground, like to be fair, Rashford still capitalizes on it well. But for me, Varane is usually very good with this stuff. But Lamine and Rashford, they don't press. Last year, Lamine was hungry with his press. I would say we would create 3 to 4 chances a game just off Lamine, like intercepting it in dangerous areas and then running at the defense. I was extremely disappointed with Lamine's performance. Extremely disappointed.
It's you know when you
Like
watch the
extremely disappointed, man.
when you watch the clip over of him like kind of gassing it up, and don't get me wrong, I know he's in some type of program, the Kings League, and he's trying to just gas it up for his friend. He's having banter in some sense, like how some would say, but it's just. How can you do say that and then come here and genuinely not play with like a chip on your shoulder just a bit?
He has to be injured. He has to be injured. Come on.
Yes.
Although otherwise we're cooked.
Do you know Amr? Do you know what narrative we're gonna run with? Ferran was injured.
Yeah.
Lamine was injured.
Uh-huh.
Rafinha's actually like no actually he's
Yeah.
not playing.
Almost injured.
Almost
Lee was
injured.
injured. Lee was
He was
injured. Juan Garcia's injured.
Garcia's injured. Do you have anyone?
Um, do we have anyone else? I don't know. Gavi's injured.
Gavi's injured. That's a big one.
That's like the bench and that.
It's like
And these guys are sad pricks that got rattled by an 18-year-old. I saw Courtois screaming at Lamine right
in fact,
before
came on, started talking to him. That means like, bro, what are
absolute
you doing at
rattle.
big age?
Big age, yeah. Go outside the
Genuinely,
house.
was
Vinicius,
like
trash professional, went inside the locker room when you're up 2-1 against your bitter rivals in the 72nd minute.
couldn't support that man.
So yeah, that's
Uh,
the pod, in my opinion. I think that's how we should end it. We should end it on all those statements.
all the statements, also known as facts.
Facts. They're all facts. By the way, the pen is on the ground. That's all I'm going to say.
The Eric Garcia one.
Yeah, the Eric Garcia one.
Wait, one last question. Was it a pen? I mean,
No, I don't think so.
I really don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think
I
there's
think
too
what you
much
said was,
confusion.
was was very well said. It's like if I was shielding the ball and then somebody booted me, would that make it a pen? Absolutely not.
Exactly. Like if I'm about to take a shot and someone gets their body in front of the ball to cover it because the ball's going, they thought the ball's going out, and I just take the guy and I whack him through. He's like, bah,
Let,
bah,
let,
and then,
let me tell you something that adds on to that. I've seen
Mhm.
a ton of pens given the other way around. In terms of if Vinicius was Lamine, they're giving the pen, and the
Exactly.
defender was trying to clear it.
Really gets ahead of the ball, and then Lamine kicks him, and it's of course it's an
That's
hour,
pen.
1,000%. Also, one last thing. You saw the Carvajal one in Araujo. I'm saying they don't overgive that. I understand that.
Yeah, man, but that's just
But
Dirty.
like Carvajal is a bigger player. They might have like for example, Araujo does that on Carvajal.
Yes.
Araujo does that on Vasquez. Do you know I'm just mentioning Vasquez because of that time when he got the penalty against Juventus?
Juventus
Remember that one?
Benatia. Yeah.
Yeah, against Benatia in the Champions League final. Bro, when I tell you
Semis.
the semis,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
When I tell you, bro, if it's a bigger person on a smaller player, it's a pen.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to complain about that. But I will mention all those are facts. Our entire team was injured. Real Madrid, your entire healthy team, and you only beat us 2-1. Okay, okay. Only up 5 points. The league is still very long. We will see you back at the new Camp Nou
Visca
next.
Barça. Visca Barça.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you next time. We ended this podcast sad. We started this podcast sad.
Yeah.
We end this podcast with hope and just facts. All we say is facts on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see you a lot next time. See you later.